We have with us here in the studio DJ Will.
Oh, there again.
Yes, and there's been reported Wendy here and there throughout the studio.
She's kind of like a jackalope. She makes her appearance whenever she wants to.
Yeah. And then, kind of wanders off as it's needed and whatnot. So yeah. We've just been playing a few records. You want to give them a rundown of what we've been listening to?
Sure, absolutely. The first one was Metal Mike from Angry Samoan doing Deck the Halls. Girl Trouble was Blue Christmas. The Offspring was You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Detroit's and one of my favorite bands, Land of Treason, Old Germs cover.
I know, that was really excellent to hear. I haven't heard that in a while.
It's not too many people have, but I'm glad to bring it in for you today. The Damned did There Ain't No Sandy Claus, of course.
An appropriate seasonal tune.
Absolutely. Not too out of the tradition of anti-Christmas songs here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Super Suckers did Creepy Jackalope Eye. Decided to just throw that one in there. Big Jewel Car from Huntington Beach.
Oh, we're getting to that next, so we're not there yet.
That's counting. Oops. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So, is this your first time on radio, or have you done this before?
I have not done this before.
Oh.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent.
Went out for a quick brew. I thought I was going to be late here today, and I went down to the Cheerful Tortoise, and actually some guy was in full epileptic seizure, so I said, "'Tis the season."
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Oh, man.
Paramedics were on the way, but he ended up to be okay after putting down his book and taking the beer out of his hand. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there. You're like anticipating like easy, relaxing radio afternoon, and
I thought
instead
so,
you're
yeah.
like.
Oh, maybe it's apropos that I'm here as a punk rock gentleman that I am.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Well, and the other thing that I was thinking about too, and we kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but I felt like it'd be a good thing to kind of bring up on the air, is that like so much of our conversations that we've had back and forth have been about like our relationship with records.
Absolutely.
And like I always speak for myself and whatnot in terms of like I feel like that record store kind of raised me as a late teen, early 20, where I go in to look around at different stuff and get to know the clerks, and
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh, what is this record going to sound like when I get home and whatnot. And
Absolutely.
I was just kind of curious, like, what your experience is like.
Yeah, my experience was basically that was kind of a underground mecca for all us music heads and musicians just to hang and fling some flyers or hang out and listen to. Could be the hippie behind the counter playing the Van Halen, or it could be us trying to get the Devo in the background and flinging our gum wads at them, trying to make that happen. But nevertheless, either way, it was all just this melting pot of just music and a beautiful time, and it's really lacking in today's music, of course, because everybody can just download it. And
that's right. It's not like you're going through bins anymore trying to find like that one record that you're like, oh, is this gonna make my afternoon? Or
not at all. And that's part of the adventure. I think that some of it's just handed to us, and it's so easily accessible on the internet, even though it has its benefits. But that mech is really missing, I think.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing that I've noticed with like finding music online versus finding it in a record store is that like when you find it online, you kind of know what you're gonna get. You can like preview the track, and you read reviews of it, and your friends recommend like this or that or whatever.
Absolutely.
And when you were going through bins and crates of records and stuff, it was a total crapshoot. You had no idea.
You might just look at a cover and go, "This has to be great," and it could be the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have I think about an equal number of records where it's like I thought they were going to be amazing based on the cover, and found out they were terrible when I get home, and vice versa, where you look at the cover and you're like, how can this be?
Tijuana Brass one with the half-naked lady and
right.
Whipped cream all over.
Exactly.
Yes.
How can that be terrible?
Yes.
And then you get it home and you find out. But no, there's something about that relationship that when we were talking last week, it was something that like I felt really kind of defined a certain generation of music collectors.
Mm-hmm.
And that came with like making mixtapes, and I don't know, a big thing for me was like going to a friend's house to listen to a new record when, hey, I just got the new fill in the blank or whatever, so hang out and check it out. Which now it seems like the equivalent scenario would be he would send me an email and be like, oh, listen to this link.
It's in a zip file. You got the whole thing in one shot, and oh yeah, I'll get to them, and I get to it. And
right.
You're listening it online. You're not really paying attention to what the music is about.
Do you care to weigh in on this, Wendy, or are you just...
I'm an observer. Absolute
She's just an
observer.
Observing.
Cool. Well, maybe we should get to some more music, because that's what this is all about.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, should we introduce it, or should we just let it go?
That's a halfway introduction already.
Okay.
Let's just play it on.
Cool. You're listening to Blast Business Radio here on KPSU.